don't have a mask, you might inadvertently infect them. Now, there's a small risk of that, but it's there.
Joining me now, Republican Senator and physician Rand Paul. Senator, good to have you with us today. What's your reaction to Dr. Fauci's statement there?
Well, you might get run over by a car. You might get hit by a meteor. The science is about proving that things are happening. If Dr. Fauci can prove that people who are vaccinated are spreading the disease, I will listen to him. If he can prove that people like me who have already had it are spreading the disease, I'll listen to him. But there is no evidence of that. If you want more people to get vaccinated, Joe Biden should go on national TV, take his mask off, and burn it. Light a torch to it and burn his mask and say, I've had the vaccine. I am now safe from this plague. If you'll get the vaccine, you can be safe too. But instead they say, well, the vaccine might not work in some sort of planetary world we're not aware of. The vaccine might not work. Well, there's no evidence of it. The burden of proof should be on the government to prove that we are spreading it, and then we'll listen to them. But instead it sounds sort of like fear-mongering.
Yeah, I mean, you hear these numbers that something like 6,000 people out of 63 million, something like that, got COVID after they were vaccinated.
Right.
So what do you say about that?
But if you look at that number, you're right. A very, very small people got infected. Do you know how many people were hospitalized? And do you know how many people died after the vaccine? The vaccine's an amazing thing. So's natural infection if you get it the hard way. You don't want to wish that on people, but people have survived it. We shouldn't discount it. But the vaccination has virtually zero hospitalizations and virtually zero deaths. In fact, I'm not aware of any. Reinfection from people who have had it is very low number. Most people get a mild course of it, and there's a rare, if ever, reinfection that caused a fatality. So really, we should appreciate immunity, both naturally acquired and by vaccine. But you know why people don't trust the government? Because the government's saying, oh no, everyone's the same. Whether you've had the disease or not, you have to be vaccinated. If you're 10 years old, you need, it's this one size fits all that people know that this isn't as dangerous for young people, but it's very dangerous after a certain age and for overweight people.
You bring up a great point that you kind of slipped in there is a question of people who have had it. Now, shouldn't we be doing more antibody testing in the country? So if you've had it, and let's say you had it last March, right? And you're thinking, well, maybe I don't need to be vaccinated. I might have antibodies. That's the whole point of getting a vaccine, is so that your body creates antibodies. So if you still have them, do you need it?
Yeah. Well, it's more than just antibodies, because everybody's antibodies get lower over time. Even from a vaccine, your antibodies will go up, and they'll slowly come down over time. But immunity, long-lived immunity, also comes from T cells and memory cells. So there are other lab tests that you can do to test whether people still have immunity. The good news is after natural infection, virtually everybody gets antibodies. The antibodies do go down in some people, but if you test them for T-cell immunity, it looks like there's robust immunity now nearly a year later. And actually what you find with some viruses, like with mumps, if you have had mumps naturally, you have a stronger natural immunity than you get from the vaccine. We don't yet know what it'll be with COVID, but with SARS, which was a bad COVID virus back in 2004, when we measure people's T-cell immunity, they still have it 17 years later.
Thank you very much, Senator and Dr. Rand Paul. Always interesting to talk to you about what Dr. Fauci has to say. Thank you, sir. We're going to go live.